ADHD Babes, the podcast, a podcast hosted by the ADHD Babes community for the community. Please note, nothing mentioned during the podcast is meant as a diagnosis. If you believe you have ADHD, please seek professional advice and visit or join ADHDBabes.com for help with diagnosis. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. And now, you're listening to the next episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. My name is Anna and we're here today hosting with Joey as well. Did I say your name properly? I can't remember. It will be lovely if we can all welcome you today, as the topic today is quite juicy. It's a discussion about ADHD and our family and how we grew up with ADHD and our relationships, specifically because we come from Black families. And it's difficult to talk about neurodiversity and mental health, isn't it? Joining us today, we have a lovely ADHD Babes and special guest who is now an honorary ADHD Babe. So welcome, ADHD Baddie. Tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and your relationship with your family around your diagnosis.
Hi, I'm ADHD Baddie. What I do, well, my content on TikTok is basically about helping, supporting people with ADHD, mainly people that are undiagnosed and unmedicated, with managing their ADHD symptoms, as well as like PCOS and other how do you say it? Like, is it infertility or like stress induced symptoms, especially when it comes to like endometriosis, PCOS, because we tend to, when you're undiagnosed, you tend to have those things because we're undiagnosed, so we don't treat it, and then we get stressed out, and then our body just reacts and manages things the way it can. So I've been through a process where I was undiagnosed, realized that my PCOS was being caused by ADHD, went into a deep dive, hyperfixated on how to get better, and did so much research, and I was able to like get to a place where I don't need to be medicated and feel so much better. And yeah, it just changed my life, and I want to share that with other people because I know what it's like to be neglected by the healthcare system, by, you know, people misunderstanding you, people just like feeling like you're alien, that you're different, like you're alone. And I just kind of like wanted to create a community where everyone's welcome. If you're undiagnosed, if you're diagnosed, and just like get the help and not feel like a victim, because I felt so helpless within my body for so long, and I was looking for answers like for my whole life, thinking I knew there was something wrong, I just never knew what. So once I found that out, and I knew there were so many people probably also struggling with the same thing, I was like, I need to talk about it, I need to share it. So yeah, that's what I do, that's who I am. And my relationship with my family, are we going in it already, or are we going to go?
Oh, no. Let's introduce everybody first, and then we can go deep into it. So welcome, Janelle. Tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and your relationship. Well, we'll talk about your relationship with your family later around your diagnosis.
So I'm Janelle. I am a professional in theatre, so I work in the theatre, in operations. I'm also a writer. My diagnosis was like 2 years ago. So prior to that, I didn't really identify with what it meant to have ADHD. I didn't have a lot of knowledge around it besides what, you know, you see on like TV or in the media, and like, I guess, negative or typical stereotypes, and they were usually obviously of people that don't look like me. So for the past, I guess, 2 years, with having a diagnosis now and sort of understanding what parts of ADHD really show up in my day-to-day life, I've really had a chance to like interrogate who I am as a person and how that has shown up in my childhood in ways that I hadn't realized until now. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. And Amoyah, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Amoyah. I'm a platform staff at Euston, aka train dispatcher. I got diagnosed, I think 2 years ago, maybe. No, it is 2 years ago, sorry. Nearly 2 years ago. And yeah, I guess everything just makes sense when you get told that you have it. even just with family, friends as well, and just even like schooling, I guess. But yeah, I just try and navigate life and just try and understand myself more. Even with like PCOS, I can't say the word, sorry, PCOS as well, and just try and like link everything together and just try and get it on track, you know, and understand.
Yeah, amazing.
And I'm Joy, the second host. Hey, it's such a pleasure to have you lot here today. I can't wait to discuss. So we're going to break the ice, a little icebreaker. We like it, even the heat we are under. So can you come up with 3 buzzwords or phrases that used to come up in your household as, you know, when it comes to neurodivergence or mental health? Were there any buzzwords that you can think about that you can share with us?
Common sense comes to mind.
Use your head. That one, I would say, don't be so absent-minded. That was said a lot as well.
For me, it's not a word, but if I could lose my head, I would lose it.
Yeah. Well, I think for me is, can you just focus, please? Focus. You can never focus. That was one. Stop dropping things. You're so clumsy. You're so clumsy. That's another one.
Another one is, don't be so smart. Don't be smart. That's one as well, which was always perplexed me, because it's like, you're always telling me to be smart in school, but when I'm talking to you back, it's like, don't be smart. Like, you pick one. I can't do both. Like, I'm smart or I'm not.
Yeah, because I came up with an answer for everything as well. So it's difficult when you're growing up in a black household. You're not supposed to shut back.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just take it.
It's like, yeah.
Everyone has normal kids. What did I...
That's crazy.
What did I get? Like,
That's crazy.
get return policy refund.
What did I do to deserve this?
Jesus, what kind of child are you? I said, well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Why can't you be like everyone else? Or why can't you be like this person? This person's doing this, the comparison.
It's the comparison.
Why can't you be
Absolutely.
like their mum? How about that?
That part. Or why can't they be like Michael Jackson? Why are we here right now? Yeah? Excuse me? So yeah.
Oh, it was rough.
Yeah.
What was your home situation growing up?
In what context? Like,
Yeah.
So, still in the context of being neurodivergent, mental health.
What's your experience? It's just
Yeah,
an
just-
experience.
Okay. For me, actually, I didn't have like a hard time with it, in a sense, like, because I wasn't diagnosed as a child. And also my ADHD, to my understanding, is like inattentive type. So that kind of showed up like particularly shy, and like daydreamy, as opposed to somebody that seemed disruptive. Like, I wasn't kicked out of class or put on report, or like other things that might typically quote unquote be seen as like an ADHD problem. I didn't give my parents problems in that way, but I think there were definitely like, if I go back to what I said about the phrase common sense, like there was definitely things that I didn't understand, because I didn't understand what was being asked of me. Like, if you say like, where's your common sense? What is common sense?
Yeah.
What's common?
'Cause that's
What is the common sense that
Yeah.
I should be having? Like, who am I looking to for that answer? And also, like, I guess things I might have noticed or might have frustrated me was like fulfilling tasks, even to this day a little bit, gave me a bit of anxiety, because then I'm kind of knowing deep down that I'm comparing how I do this task to my sister or cousin or stuff like that. So that those were the things for me personally, in my household. So yeah.
For me, it was, I don't know, it wasn't that bad. Like, growing up, because I was the only girl, it wasn't surprisingly comparative, like, oh, you need to be like more like your brother and stuff. Like, we each had a different personality. For example, like, I was doing very well in school, but I had a mouth. I didn't get sent out of class, but my mum would get called. And even when I was like in like primary school, it was, she's always like, you're so bossy and so chatterbox, you need to just be quiet. But my mum was always like, just, keep being you, but try and like shut up a bit, and when I started growing up, that's when, because I have combined, so I was very like fidgety and chatty, especially in secondary school. My GCSEs, shout out to Mr. McGowan. He was very funny because he moved me everywhere, and no matter what, I'd still find someone to chat to. I would still be chatty patty, but I was very good at my work, but I hated doing homework. Like, even in A-levels, I left it very last minute. And the only thing I appreciate that I was more pressured to myself that, why can't I get this right? Why can't I? But my mum was always like to us, we're each different people. Like, if I look at my younger sibling now, they were the rude one. And they were like very hyperactive and like definitely have traits of it as well. So it shows the difference between the two. But I will say sometimes it did get overwhelming, like for my mum, especially like if I lost my oyster like a good 3-4 times. Lost keys. I lost my nan's house keys. So she had to pay for a new house, set of house keys and stuff for her house. It's like, it does get frustrating for people. But yeah, growing up was very interesting, to say the least, especially in a Caribbean household. It was very like old school, but a bit more modern. It wasn't like, they understood mental health in the sense of like ADHD and stuff, but depression is a different yes. As well as what they've grown up and seen. So like that was very different. But they understood. Like my mom, you can tell she has it, like ADHD, but she even said it recently. So yeah, it's just different traits. Even my dad, I'm not close with my dad like that, but even him, you can tell like he's very neurodivergent.
That's the devil. It's the devil. Gotta cast that demon out of you.
Mine was quite interesting. Like, I think deep down, like, my parents always knew something was up. They may have not known it was ADHD, but opposite to what you said, like, I was actually I was put in a special class. But when I was a kid, I knew I was put in a special class. So I was like, wait, why am I with the kids? Like, if I was like 4, 5, 6, I was just like, this isn't right. I shouldn't be here. Like, these kids are the ones that aren't doing well. But I was aware of that. I was just like, and I remember being bored in the class and just answering questions like, and screaming and shouting in the class and getting annoyed at people because I'm just like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not stupid. I'm smart. But no one knew what it was. And what else was there? It was just like little things like, and mainly nothing really like rejection or being shunned. But my parents did have me like have a tutor like that would come every week. I would never do the homework. I would do the work when he's there and never do the homework. But they gave me a tutor because they knew something was up, but they didn't know what it was. I would do the homework well, but I would never. I mean, I'll do the work with him well, but I would never do the homework. And what else was there? There was sorry, I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, when my parents, like, at first it was hard for them to understand. Like, I always felt in my family and no one really understood me. And I was very moody. Like, I had 1 minute I was okay, next minute I wasn't okay. And I could never explain or understand why. I was just like, I'll be okay 1 minute because I can be bubbly, happy and energetic. But then I'll just like be like depressed. But I didn't know it was depression. I didn't know it was anxiety. Like, growing up as well, like, I had stomach aches my whole life. My mom took me to doctors as a kid. I got scans. They didn't know what was wrong. It was anxiety because I was in a constant state of flight and fight because I didn't know every little thing I did was wrong. So I was in this, like, uptight state for like most of my life, and that, you know, developed again into PCOS, you know, stomach issues, IBS, like all these things. I just didn't know. I just thought that's okay. I have to live with this is like constant pain and fear because everything I was told I was done was wrong. And again, as I said before, it's like, don't be smart, but be smart. And then like contradicting, not understanding why things are the way they are. People misunderstanding me when it's like, no, that's not what I meant. Like, so it was like pretty hard because even me as a kid, like I knew something was up. I didn't know what it was. And I used to even like take personality tests to try to figure out what it was, just do whatever. Cause I was just like, why am I like, and that's how I got into astrology as well when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, I'm a Leo. This makes so much sense. Like, but even though that helped me like understand myself, it still wasn't.
And
It doesn't complete.
It doesn't complete. Yeah.
Cause I still, you know, cause I'm like, my mind's going a million miles an hour. I don't know why. Like, I can never have my mind can never be quiet. Like, what is that? And maybe, okay, everyone does that. And cause, you know, I even made a TikTok the other day about how, you know, your parents say, oh, everyone does that. Because one of them has it. Yeah. So it's like, they think it's normal. It's not normal, bro. You are the one that, you know what I mean? Like, it's not normal. They think it's normal because they do it. They're just undiagnosed as well, bro. You're undiagnosed, so it's not normal. So that's why it's frustrating. You're gaslit your whole life.
I say that all the time. I say, like, leave the Me Too for the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Just to come up to someone and say, I'm struggling with sleep, I'm struggling with this. Oh, me too. Oh, me too. Oh, it's fine. Oh, me too. When I drink 5 coffees, I don't go to sleep still. Oh, me too. One day. You can't have nothing. Like, that's why I couldn't be diagnosed for so long, because everyone, me too. So I'm like, okay, so I am normal. There's nothing wrong. So just kill me now, please.
You know what I mean?
Because ain't no way.
What's the answer? Because that's what, like, I hate it when people, like, you don't look like you're, it's like, what does that even mean? And especially when you grew up masking, because everyone will ask you what's wrong, and you're tired of people asking you what's wrong because you don't know, so you just pretend that you're okay because you can't, you know, you can't win.
Put words on.
So
you mask away until you have that melting point, that point where you just cannot do it. You cannot longer do
complete
it.
burnout, and then it's like,
which is exactly what happened.
Mask anymore.
What happened to me as a mum. You know, when I became a mum when I was 25, and I just couldn't understand why I couldn't do the normal day-to-day mothery thing. Although every mum says it's very difficult, so I'm very glad. But I just found it even more and more difficult. I just couldn't, you know, do a lot of stuff. And my mum was like, but it's normal. Like, you know, as a woman, these things come naturally. Like, you're supposed to know these. And I used to find it so disgusting to have to change a nappy. Yeah. I found it like, this is punishment. Like, God. I used to wear gloves. I used to wear aprons and stuff because I couldn't touch it. I couldn't smell it. All of that stuff. But going off topic.
It's always right.
It's for me, growing up is kind of the same experience where it was more about inattentiveness rather than hyper focusing or being overly stimulated. Like, I was very calm, very quiet. I'm also the first daughter and the only daughter. I've got 2 brothers. I was very quiet, always very good in school, did as much as I could as well, because I don't remember being in school. Like, I don't remember learning anything in school. I don't know how I passed my exams. I also, the beginning of my childhood, I grew up in Colombia. So education there is very different to the UK, where you have to actually do final exams and then pass from grade to grade. If you fail your exams, then you get left behind. So I don't know how I did it. Also, your parents pay for your education. So I think that was an extra pressure on me to kind of like do well in school. And I always just did the bare minimum, you know, like, as long as I pass, I don't get the grade. And my mum and dad always knew there was a difficulty in my learning, but they didn't know exactly what it was. And when I came to the UK, I entered straight into secondary school, and then they knew I had learning difficulties as well, but they never did assess me. They just gave me all of the adjustments that they give other children. And then, you know, I was put in like single science, for example, and like, you know, like intermediate English and stuff like that. And that's true, but that's because I just genuinely always wanted to do the just like, as long as I pass, as long as I gain a GCSE, then I'm okay. And at home, my parents were very much like, just do the best, just do your best, just do your best. And they always said, you know, you're all different. My brothers were seen as the more clever ones, more because they were extroverts. They were very shouty, very also neurodiverse as well. But because they were boys, they were like treated the boys. You know, you're the girl. You're supposed to be quiet. You're supposed to be like, you know, well behaved and quiet and not, you know, not cause any trouble. And growing up, it was, you know, into adolescence, it was kind of like, that's when it became a little bit more difficult, because that's when I was making decisions to hang out with the wrong people, or making the wrong decisions of being very, how do you say the word when you just impulsive at doing things. Like I used to take my mum's credit cards and spend the money because I thought the money was there. And my mum was like, what the hell are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
We live.
Yeah. And then my mum was like, yeah. And so she was like, stop trying. That's called stealing. You're stealing from us. And I was like, I'm not stealing from you. What do you mean? It's your money. You're my mom. Like, I'm just borrowing your credit card because the money's there. And then I couldn't understand it at the time. And I thank God that didn't go into fraud, and I didn't become some sort of criminal.
Yeah.
Credit cards, because that's another thing. People with, you know, who are neurodivergent, it's easier for them to go into crime and things like that. So yeah, for me, I relate to everything that you guys have said, because it was a happy upbringing. It was difficult not knowing who I was, obviously, and all the difficulties that came along the way. Specifically when I became a mum, that's when it became a problem for me. And then obviously explaining it to my mum, you know, even the fact that I was diagnosed with postnatal depression. My mum was like, what the hell? Just drink something, you know, drink these herbs, you know, just do more exercise, pull yourself out of it. Oh, you need to go out and have a coffee with your friends. What's this thing about depression? You're happy, you're married, you've got your children, you got money. Why are you depressed? So, so that's a question I used to ask myself as well. I was like, why am I depressed? Like, I'm not struggling in any shape or form. Like, I'm supposed to be happy and I'm supposed to be content. So that has always been a stigma. And then my brother got really, really ill. My youngest brother, he developed psychosis, and then he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And that's when the whole family kind of like started digging into what mental health is, and how it affected the whole family. And we started looking at everyone, uncle, cousins, grandparents, you know, their history. And then you start to investigate, oh, actually, this has been in the family for a very long time, but no one's actually talked about it because it's a taboo. Nobody wants to be seen as the crazy one, or the crazy family, or things like that. So, so it has been a journey for about, I don't know, 15 years, I would say, for all of us to kind of like, and then at the time I just thought it was mental health this whole time, because I was diagnosed 2 years ago. So this whole time I just thought it was mental health issues, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. So I was on medication for all of that. And it wasn't until I was diagnosed with ADHD that I realized, okay, so that's the problem that my brother has as well. Because now, looking at everything that he's gone through, the basis of everything is that he is autistic and has ADHD as well. And that led him having a mental breakdown. He doesn't have schizophrenia, because for some reason everybody seems to have schizophrenia, specifically if you're from Black community. Yeah. He actually has bipolar and personality
BPD.
That's borderline personality disorder. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's for about 10 years he was taking the wrong medication. So now he's Yeah, so now he's being put in a my mum and dad are paying for his rehabilitation in an institution. He's been there for about 6 months now, and he's a complete different person. So yeah, but yeah, it's been a process for us. Something that we've investigated is that a 2014 study found that mothers with an ADHD diagnosis have a 2.5 times greater chance of their first child having autism. I relate. Plus, research shows that parents and siblings of someone with ADHD are more likely to have ADHD themselves. What traits have you noticed in your parents, siblings, or immediate family members? Who wants to go first?
My brother.
Yes.
So actually my sibling. So I feel like when growing up, my mom she has traits of ADHD. She says it herself. There's certain things she does, certain things she do that didn't make sense as a kid. You know, she wasn't your typical mum. She wasn't your like typical like strict old school Jamaican mum, and she wasn't like your, you know, free spirit mum. She was in the middle, but there were just little things. It's hard to explain it with her, but it's easy to explain with siblings. For example, my younger sibling, terrible at school. They are smart. They just did the bare minimum. When you looked at their grades, they got great grades, but they did the bare minimum. Very hyper focus is something for them that I've noticed like greatly. For example, they are amazing at technology. Anything technology worthy, they're so good at it. If you need anything fixed, from software issue to like literally like fixing itself, very great at it. But other subjects for them, like maths, they hated. Compared to me, I was the opposite. I loved maths. Couldn't speak English to save my life. When I passed English, I was like, yes. I didn't have to think about it in A levels because I did everything maths based and everything. And then when you think about like a much more normal sibling, I think about my like last baby brother. Like he's very like normal, like just a gifted kid. Very normal to me. Very like, but what is normal? But like very like, you know, well behaved, but maybe just little signs, but literally generally when I think about my family, but then when I think about my dad, he's like straight down there. Just his hyperactiveness, his like impulsiveness to doing from one thing to another, I've realized that he does. His love of music actually is a great indicator of it, his love of music. So growing up, it was very interesting to see how things are very systematic, like how my mum does things. You know, if you don't do it the right way, like they'll do it themselves. But sometimes we ask her like, how are we meant to do it the right way if you're not going to teach us that way? And your way is not necessarily right. It's just particular to you, compared to like if you see my nan now. My nan is very like just traditional Jamaican Christian woman, very like calm compared to like my mum. You can see it, like the difference of like the traits that she has and like I inherited from her, little things. But yeah, like growing up, especially now being diagnosed, you're like, that now makes sense. Like your siblings make sense. Everything just makes sense. And I feel like I gravitate towards people as well who are yeah. Because when I had friends that are just like very neurotypical, I don't get along with them too much compared to friends that are neurodivergent. Like in my group, it's like majority of us, you can tell we have people that have traits of autism, ADHD definitely, and just like that, and it works compared to when like I think about my past friendships, I was like, yeah, it doesn't, now I know why it doesn't work.
We're just on the same wavelength, our brains just,
it makes sense. Even at work, I gravitate towards people who have it compared to people that don't have it.
Come on.
And we also more empathetic. I think that's what it is, which is very much more empathetic, I guess, at understanding differences. So it's easier to speak. Well, I say that, but you know, when you come across someone who's neurotypical, sometimes you're just like, God. Where is your common sense?
I think people that I think I definitely kind of noticed, I would be my dad. Definitely, I definitely got it for him. My mom's definitely 100% neurotypical. But because we're always like, she doesn't understand. She tries to, bless her, like she's the only person that tries to understand me, even though she still doesn't get it. But she's worked with me, and I really love her. Like she's the one person in my life that I love. Like she's tried with me. But my dad, I can definitely tell, like just little things like he has a certain spoon he has to use. And like, if you give him any other spoon, he's just like, no. Like, I don't know if you've seen online as well. Like, they have this. It's this. There's certain spoons that make sense and don't make sense. It's like, if we can't, he wouldn't take it. Like, as a kid, I was like, why are you? Like, it's not that serious. Or like, what other things? Again, the love of music. My dad is a big music guy. He loves. I always used to say like he could have been a DJ because the way that he loves his songs. Like, but I feel like my dad either has an attentive type or he may be ADHD. I don't know, because I feel like my brother, he's undiagnosed autistic, but I don't know. But just the way he operates, my youngest brother, my only brother, my younger brother, he gives off a bit autistic. He's like, no offense autistic. I love my autistic cousins, but like the main thing that I notice about autistic people, they're very fixed. Yeah. Like ADHD people are a bit more flexible. Like we're a bit more, we're willing to kind of, autistic people, they don't, unless they understand it, they're not gonna accept it. I've had friends that I've clashed with because of this. My brother just, he's a bit, he doesn't budge. So he's not diagnosed, but I definitely think that he has it. My dad as well, I think he may have a bit of both. Yeah, is that the question? Yeah. I'm just like, was anything else am I missing? Yeah.
For me, I definitely think my dad has ADHD. Me and my sister joke about it all the time because he's just like so aloof, and I think I get that part of my personality from him. He also isn't the best with money, which is an indicator as well for some people that have ADHD, and losing things and like being forgetful, but like really similar to your dad, Amoyah, really into music. He DJs. He was a DJ growing up. He used to DJ at parties, and like I used to be able to go on the mic and stuff like that. So music is like a really big therapeutic thing for him. He still has like a collection of old original vinyls from like the 70s that he's collected. I think my sister has ADHD. When she hears this, she's gonna laugh, but like she knows it. She knows it. She knows, but she hasn't. I think her seeing me go through the diagnosis process has kind of, I guess, allowed her to sort of see things about herself as well. And also, like, I guess naturally, because it's just the two of us, so for one of us to have it is less likely than for both of us to have it. And also just different parallels and different ways we sort of bounce off of each other. So for example, I'm not that good at making decisions as she is, and I'm also I procrastinate really badly. I really suffer with deadlines, and like having the will and the drive to complete tasks is really, really difficult for me. But she has a lot of discipline, whereas she will literally come back through the door 3-4 times because she's forgotten things. So it's like little things that we notice about each other, and then just the yapping over each other and like, yeah, stuff like that. I think one thing that I find interesting actually is my partner that I've been with for 10 years. I think he has autism or is on the spectrum in some capacity. And I noticed that, similar to what Kemi was saying in terms of how fixed they are, like the parallel in our, like things that we fuss over in our relationship, that other people outside are just like, what is this conversation? Like, what are you even going back and forth about? But it's like the way that he thinks and the way that I think, and it can be quite tricky at times because there's sort of it's like a what's it called, access clash. So there's things that he may need, or like that is really I don't know, things that he needs for him to feel functional and feel like things make sense in his day to day that clash with mine. But then on the flip side, that there are ways that we understand each other a bit more that really benefits the relationship. So I definitely feel like very grateful that I'm with someone that, even if they aren't diagnosed or don't necessarily know, we don't know the facts around it, that their own access may actually help me feel at ease with mine. So that's been like really quite an incredible experience.
I can relate to that, actually. My partner of 7 years, I feel like he has traits of autism, definitely. As much as he denies it, especially when he's with his friend, that's when it comes out the most. We clash about very different things. He's very systematic. He can save money. He does things certain ways. Me now, procrastination. I just don't feel motivated. Like literally, even recently, we just argued about working out. I said, I want to get fit. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Because he's into all of that. He has his own things at home. Do you want to do it now? No. Why? Because work, innit? And he's like, do you want to do it later then? And he's like, so why do you mention these things to me? Why are you trying? And I'm like, because I want to. I want to be like this girl. This girl, right? I need to be ready for carnival. And he's like, okay, let's do it now. I'm like, can we do it tomorrow? And then the next day is the same thing like that. And I feel like also like my younger sibling, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like my younger sibling is my yin to my yang. Like, good at saving money, good at being logical, want to do something now. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. So yeah, like my partner, like shout him out, even though he doesn't hear it. Yeah, just little things like how he's fixed and his interests as well is very clear indication as well compared to my interests and how I do things. He likes keeping things clean. I like keeping things messy. Floor job. Big argument about that. Who has the most clothes on the floor? Probably me. Who has the most clothes in the house? You don't need this clothes. And then my mom will give me clothes and I'll be like to my mom, wait, I need to throw out clothes. And then I just don't throw it out. It's just in the wardrobe, all packed. Like the whole wardrobe is mine. And he just have like boxes and stuff.
Yeah, little drawer.
Yeah. And he's very systematic with his clothes as well. I realized
the folding.
that. Yeah, and you know the thing where they're not going to buy anything until it's completely broken?
Yes.
Or why do you need this? Like recently we just got an ice machine for my birthday, right? And he's like, why do you need it? Now, guess who's using it? His parents gave me an air fryer. Oh my gosh, double air fryer. He's like, why? I mean, she wants it, but why do we need it in house? Guess who loves it?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. Like, I feel like as growing up, I just always gravitated towards people who are like that. And it's good because my mom was very open at the same time, but not open at the same time. Like when you get diagnosed, she's like, makes sense. Even my friends, yeah, I knew that. I'm like, so why didn't you tell me?
Right. Nah, it was a big relief though for me because I was like, finally the answer.
Yeah, because I got.
But sorry, side note, to in conjoint with what you said about your partners and them being autistic, it's just another pattern recognition. I realized that there's always an autistic boy that don't play about one ADHD girl. It's like a lot of guys that I've realized that probably looking back, like I feel like they probably were autistic, but it was platonic. But they probably like had the secret crush on me I didn't know. But I feel like the couple was like, I feel like, wait, that guy was autistic. And it makes sense now that why they were like so. But and you two guys are also like, adding to the, proof that, autistic men love the ADHD girlies.
They do.
They love them.
They do.
So side note, sorry.
Absolutely. Well, I add in my 2 pence. I have been married for nearly 20 years and my husband and I had a lot of issues in communicating to one another, but we work really well together. But it was that issue, like we were saying the same thing. He was like, oh, the wall is black. And I'd be like, yeah, the wall is kind of black. But I said it's kind of black, but I'm saying it is black, and then sort of working through those things. It was more about, oh, maybe we just need to learn how to improve our communication and through counseling and things like that. And then now when I was diagnosed, he was like, oh, that makes sense now. I get it. And he understood straight away. Like he was like, oh, okay. I get it. I get why sometimes you say things that you don't mean to say because you mean to say da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, but yours because you're autistic. Because that's what it is. And he was like, no, I don't have any of those things that you keep telling everybody that they have. Because when I went into hyperfocus about my research, I bought books and everything, and I was diagnosing everyone in my family, and specifically him. I was like, look at your traits, man. You're on the spectrum. Look at you. Whatever he would do, I'll be like, yeah, autism. So now he's made peace with it. And he says he doesn't want to go through the whole process of being diagnosed, but he's like, I absolutely know now. And he has conversations with me about when he was in school, also how difficult it was for him to kind of like get the grades and to understand. And his writing, he can't write. He, as an adult now, he can't write properly. His writing is awful. And even typing or things that he can't understand. It's very difficult for him to understand processes. So as a tailor, like he kind of like he learned just how to make trousers and that's it. Like he's not interested in how to make like jackets or nothing like that. He's like, I just know how to make trousers. I am not interested in nothing else. Well, there's other tailors who can do everything and anything. Like my dad, for example, that's another thing. I married my dad. My dad is also autistic and has not ADHD, he has dyspraxia and dyslexia. And my mum has ADHD, absolutely. That's it, my mum is very good with money, very, very good with saving, buying things, very organized, very clean, very like everything had to be done in a certain way. Like if I cut the plantain in a different shape, that's not how you cut the plantain. You do it this way. And then I realized everybody cuts the plantain very differently. Like they do it properly, but they do it differently. And or if you chop in an onion, that's not how you do it. So at the end, when I was growing up and I was learning how to cook, I said to her, like, I'll do anything else. I'll do the house chores, anything else, but I will not cook because every time I make something, it's never good enough. And I just can't deal with this putting me down all the time because my cooking is not good enough. And so I stopped cooking and I struggled when I got married because I had to learn. I kind of had the basics, but then, the seasoning and all of that stuff, it became quite difficult. But absolutely, I agree that we do marry people or are in relationships, not necessarily marrying, but we are in relationships with people who we identify with and who are neurodiverse. And it's not, I've had conversations with many of my friends who are also recently found out that they're neurodiverse because of me. I'm like, yeah, you definitely need to go and get assessed.
Yeah. Yeah, I can identify with that because there's been like countless times in my life when I've joined like some kind of group for whatever reason, whether that's church or like a dance group or I did martial arts as well. And I feel like I could clearly identify not fitting in and I couldn't understand why. You almost gaslight yourself because you're kind of like, no one really, like, no one's thinking about you like that. Like, no, it's not that. But actually, about the gravitation towards people that are similar to you, it's very clear that that's the case, because I don't know if it's just in the mannerism or the way that I interact with people that maybe other people were not, didn't understand or whatever it was, but I just felt like there was patterns of times when I felt like I didn't fit into certain groups, even though I wanted to. And like, because I didn't have the language and I didn't have the understanding, that caused depression, because you don't really, you feel there's loads of instances where you need to be part of community. And so obviously if you can't feel like you're part of it, or you feel like there is some kind of block or limit, or you're not quite cool enough, or whatever it might be, that can be very frustrating and like make your self-esteem quite low. But then like further into adulthood, like I had to kind of do that whole thing where you force yourself to pretend that you don't care about these things, and then actually go through the motion of fully like understanding. Then you get the diagnosis, and then things start to click into place, and by that time you've already created the community for yourself that you need. So yeah, I definitely think you having that connection with that guy, I don't think that was by accident. Like I feel like that maybe was some validation that was needed for you at the time.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, absolutely. The universe brought you together. God brought you together.
100%.
Something out of there got you there.
Nice. Why do we think there is a denial in our communities and households when it comes to, mental health, neurodivergent, being different, quote unquote,
I think it's very cultural, and also like to do with religion and stuff. I think, especially back home, or like I'm Nigerian, so like in Nigeria, like they don't have systems for this. They don't have the knowledge about it, and when they come to the UK, they think it's going to be a stigma or something that's going to hold you back, even though this country is set up to support those people, and there's things in place. And that's why like how I even like my earliest like journey in terms of being neurodivergent, I'm actually also dyslexic, and that was my first test, and it was actually a teacher who thank God suggested that I should get tested. And I remember like going home telling my parents, thinking that was it as well. Like I was like, finally, maybe this is the thing I've been thinking, even though it was later to be actually ADHD, because 40% of people that have dyslexia also have ADHD, which I wish someone would also pick up, but that's another story, that's another pain. But so I went home telling my parents, and they're like, we don't want people to stigmatize you, like because I was under 16 at the time. I was like, I want to get tested, I want to get extra time, I want to get the support, but they're like, no, we don't want you to be stigmatized, so we're not going to let you take the test. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, and exams were coming up, so I was just like, this could help me. So like and I was just really sad. And then, but luckily, again, God, universe, like my mom at the time was traveling to Nigeria, and someone bought her books to go to take to Nigeria to give to someone, and one of them was on dyslexia. So my parents read it, they read up on it, and then they was like, you know what, we saw this as a sign from God, like to let you get tested. And then I had dyslexia, so, and I got the extra time and the support. So that was like, I'm really grateful for that as well. But like, it's the lack of education. Like, and I think my parents aren't too like uptight. They're very like laid back. They're not like too kind of like overly religious or overly like, zealous or like strict about like they're pretty liberal. In that sense. So I really thank God for my parents that even when I did get tested, my dad was then, I think I might have ADHD as well. He was like, so there, it makes sense, I might have, like he was even admitting once I was going through the process, because you have to get people, I went privately, I had to get people to like, my parents to fill out a form and say what are the different things that you think that would, and then going through it, and then we've had conversation of things that have happened, and he's like, no, I understand exactly what you've gone through. So like, it's just education. And even another thing I think with my mom, like I had to like, she kept treating me like I was normal. Like she kept like behaving or reacting to me. When I would react to someone, I was like, Mom, I actually haven't, like, I'm not, you need to stop treating me like I'm a normal, or like a normal, not a normal person, but I have like, there's a reason why I behave this way, or there's a reason why like, if I talk to you like this, I'm not being rude, I'm expressing myself and this is the way that I can get it out. I'm not attacking you. I'm not being rude to you. You need to not take it that way. Or like, yeah, just kind of like had to like, it took her a while to really like kind of accept, because she's like, she has a bit of toxic positivity. Like, she doesn't want to accept. And he was just like, no, don't, you know what I mean? No, you're fine. You're normal. Like, she can a bit be overly positive. And I was like, Mom, it's okay. Like, so yeah, I don't know if I went on a...
No, that was good. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
I think so. I went into a school in Hackney, right? From when I was little, I had like speech problems. I was very delayed in speaking. I was doing speech therapy like throughout primary school, and then in secondary school, I kind of forgot about it or zoned it out, and then it will take me out of English and be like, oh yeah, there's gonna be person in English for you, and I'm like, I don't want it. It's got nothing to do with my mum or family. Like, I feel like my family was very supportive of it. If the school recommends something for us, you know, she'll make the school do it. It's not like a, why are you doing it? But I feel like, especially Caribbean people already have a stereotype in school. They were always like, oh, you're Caribbean, you're a bad breed, you're nothing better and stuff. When in reality, with a lot of Caribbean people that I talk to, they're like, have to be really smart. It's like, you know, they're in my school, there was 2 teachers, Miss John and Miss Young, 2 Caribbean, and they did this club for Black Caribbean girls to help out with maths, science, English, because we are the lowest percentage in the UK of passing GCSEs and A levels. So they want to change that stigma, and I feel like if you get told like you have issues, like you know what I mean, it's kind of like drawing you back, and you don't want that. So throughout secondary school, things was hard for me, especially homework. A levels was really difficult, especially the amount of maths homework I had, that I would pull up all-nighters, do it very last minute, pull up all-nighters. University, same thing. I don't know how I got my degree, but even like my partner sitting next to me, I wrote my dissertation in like 3 days. Which is like psycho behavior in a way, not psych, but like when you say to someone, they're like, what were you taking? And I'm like, nothing. I just didn't feel the pressure until last minute. Still got a 2-1 and everything, so I was really proud of myself, but it was very difficult trying to explain it to like other like people from like Afro-Caribbean households itself. I'm just lucky that I have like parents and my grandparents, my uncles and stuff that got it, which was very lucky. But I feel like as well, the system, even though we have it in place, it's very more difficult to get diagnosed, because they just dismiss you compared to someone that doesn't look like me. They're more likely to get diagnosed with it. Even with my PSOS, my GP doctor was so lovely. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even know I had it. I just told him there was problems with me, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna sort this out for you, don't worry, we're gonna do this. And this is just before COVID as well. And it's just like that. I feel like it's just a stigma even in the system, because what do we see in majority of medical problems? The only medical problems that I see that is Black people's like sickle cell, and that's it.
Yeah, sickle cell, and even that gets dismissed.
It gets dismissed.
Yeah.
I have sickle cell trait. Wintertime is horrible still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's the stigma in the system as well as just family members, because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want their child to be behind. You know, they like I've seen like with friends where the friends got compared to other people. Like, this person went Cambridge. This person got 4 A stars. And what about you? I was just lucky that I was disappointed. I put so much pressure on myself in everything I did, even down to cooking nowadays. If I cook for my family, they love the food, and I'm like, it's not good enough. So yeah, that's what I believe with the stigma around it.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's really quite layered, and there's a lot of context around it. So like, I'm from a West Indian family, and well, Jamaican specifically, and Jamaica in 2025 still doesn't, because it's a third world country, even though it's developing, it still doesn't have the provisions or the education to the extent that the West has around disability, let alone neurodivergence. And so if you then take it back to the 60s and the Windrush generation, imagine uprooting your life to come and have a new, better life, quote unquote, in the UK, to be then told that your child or your grandchild has special needs or a disability. How do you deal with that? How do you, if you don't have the language because you that was not a thing, that's a white man's thing, that's the West. So who's giving it to my child? What have they eaten? What have they watched? What drank? You know, there's a lot of that. And then there's the fear of like, what's going to become of them? How am I going to support them? You know, if I see a person that's physically got a disability and they're in a wheelchair, perhaps the physical manifestation of this disability is a bit easier to understand. But if we're talking about something to do with like the chemical makeup of somebody's brain, like how do you get your head around that if you've never ever had any understanding or conversation or education on these things? And then I also think like there are people I have a family member in particular that I can think of. They have a learning difficulty and have had that learning difficulty for the entirety of their life, and they're in their 50s, and we just get on with it as if like we never really talk about it. We've never interrogated what that disability is or that learning difficulty is. We've just lived. And so I really wonder, like, if I was born in like 1960 something and I had ADHD or autism or another type of learning difficulty or form of neurodivergence, like what would would everyone just also just get on with it and not necessarily figure out what help or what support I might need? Even like now, ADHD is a learning disability. It's a disability. It's like recognized as a disability, but I still find it difficult to identify with that particular thing. Like I find it hard to like describe myself as disabled because I'm able in many other ways, and those ways for 28 years of my life kind of like were the louder part of my lifestyle over the 2 years that I got given the language and given the terminology. So it's kind of like we're not putting the cultural like capacity to even have the understanding. And so I think like that's why I do give grace as much as there is like loads of harm that has and can be done to Black children when they don't have the support. I do give grace to Black parents and families because we just weren't given the tools, like, and we've just been put in a system that is designed for us to fail just by being Black. Forget about anything else. So yeah, it's like there's a lot around it basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with everything. I mean, it's difficult, specifically because we are put in a system where it's not designed for us to thrive. And we already have all this stigma attached to us to different things, like, oh, women, Black girls are loud, they're distractive, they are rude, they're not assertive, they have an attitude, they're that, they don't really want to work hard, as well as boys, they get all of that. So from every aspect, if you come across good teachers, like, then you probably are able to get over that threshold and get the advantage, get to that point. But the same way, I was also diagnosed with dyslexia and dyspraxia in school, and I thought that was it as well. And then finding out later on, like very, very later on in life, that I also have ADHD has been one thing. One thing that I wanted to add was that I'm the mother as well of 3 neurodivergent children, and it's been a process for me as well to kind of get them all diagnosed, every single one, all the different forms, all the different meetings, all the different conversations, everything. And it wasn't until my son, my youngest, Ethan, was diagnosed with autism that my eldest, who was already 16, realized, oh, I might be autistic as well. And And then she started doing all the reading. And at the time she'd finished school, she'd finished her GCSEs, she'd started her A-levels. She chose psychology, Spanish and environmental science, but psychology she chose because she wanted to be a psychologist because she didn't understand herself. And she thought that if she did this career path, then she might be able to understand what was going on with her. And once she started obviously studying and learning about it and kind of like learning about her brother and all the trades and everything, she was like, mum, Ethan and I, exactly the same. We just show it, how do you say it? We portray it differently. We show it differently. And then she wrote a whole booklet, like when I mean a whole book about all her trades, how she felt, situations, everything. And when I read this, I crushed. I broke down in tears because I felt like, how did I not pick this up before? How did I not see this? But to me, she was the perfect child. She was just so focused on her education. She was just quiet. She didn't cause any trouble. You would ask her to do something, she will run and do it. Best child in school. The teachers absolutely loved her. She was winning medals, winning exams, everything. But she just couldn't socialize. She had like one friend and that was it. And then it was whenever we went to parties, the noise was too much for her until she managed to get headphones, and then she would put headphones on and she would sit in a corner with a book. So everyone, friends and family, all knew Sophia to be, she's just a studious, lovely. She's going to stay like that all her life. They didn't care about the fact that she wasn't even joining with other children or other young people to have conversations, nothing. She's just not interested. Social anxiety she was having. And when she finally got diagnosed, she just, I don't know, blossomed. It was like a different person. Now she will tell you anything that she needs to tell you. She will tell everyone, I'm autistic. And, if you think I'm being rude, it's not that I'm being rude. I just say things the way they come out. And I apologize beforehand if they do come out that way. She went to school to all her teachers to stop picking on her. Wow. She's just a completely different person now. She got diagnosed just before she turned 17. She's turned 18 last week. I took her clubbing last week for the first time. And it's just how the difference that it can make, just knowing what it is what is different about you and why you perceiving the world to be so different and why you're perceiving yourself to be so different. And then once you know, you can just thrive in the world, because also then you can ask for those adjustments. I also don't like the word disability, but we are, there's so many different things that we cannot do. So just knowing all these and then obviously now speaking with family members, then you kind of realize, my cousin's also got dyslexia. My cousin has dyspraxia. This other person has a borderline personality disorder. This person, my uncle's bipolar. My nan, she had what's it called? Manic depression, and she was hospitalized at some point. So all these things start to come out, and then you start having conversations with uncles and aunties and everything. And now, because they're leaving the Western world now, most of my family members live in the West. So they live in France, Switzerland, Spain, Italy, and the UK and America. When you speak about neurodiversity, they're like, we know because so-and-so has it. So now it has become something normal. It has become something that's not stigmatized. If you see a difference in your child, get him, assessed as soon as possible. And we have conversations about it every time we come together. And we're like, do you remember what this person used to do when they were a child? It was because he was autistic. So now it's different. But growing up, obviously, it was very difficult because we had no knowledge of it. So that's my experience.
For me, I think that in my family, I think that it's seen as a sign of weakness. I think it's like deeply ingrained and rooted that it's not a good look at all. It's just like hide it by all means necessary. Like when I say I popped my family's cherry because I'm one of 13 children, and I'm the first one. Like, shout out to the first, because the
Yeah,
first,
definitely.
honey, listen, crucifixion. So, and I'm very proud. Like, I really love that word disability, because I grew up with that word being so weaponized and stigmatized that I villainized it. Like, I also rejected it. It was implied that I was dyslexic when I decided to go back to school at 19 to do an access course, because I was like, I'm smart. Actually, I'm not that stupid. I can do it. I just need to do it in my own time. If I go back and I'm not forced by parents or whatever, I can. I was like, oh my God, I am like terrible. Something is wrong with me. I'm super stupid. I can't. Then that's when I did the test. And then when it came back positive, that it was like hinting towards, oh yeah, you're dyslexic, I stopped going to school. It was a residential college, and then they ended up kicking me out. Like, I felt like it was worse than potentially going home and telling my parents at the time, oh, I'm gay. I'm like, I might as well be gay, because being disabled is like, I don't think I have a chance with that one, if that makes sense. And that's really bad. Like, that really felt bad. So it's like something I kept with me, but then at the same time, every single time the word ADD at the time came up, and I would be like, oh, hold on, I think. Then there would be a criteria that disqualifies me every single time. But I'm not, and now I'm diagnosed with half the alphabet, as I like to say. So I have ADHD. I was diagnosed yesterday by the NHS with autism, finally. Exactly. Thank you. I've known that I'm old. I've just been moving through life knowing that, like, for a while now. But I'd only got the diagnosis yesterday. So I have autism, ADHD, BPD, and yeah, those are the three official ones. And then I didn't pursue the dyslexia, but I know.
Yeah,
Dyspraxia.
it's there.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, out of 13 siblings and 2 parents who shouldn't be allowed to have children, yeah, I think so. I'm the only one. Like, everybody's like, no, it's just her. Yeah. And also, it doesn't excuse anything, because it's not that I want it to excuse something, but it surely explains, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
can work with it that
right?
when
And
you
it's
actually
like,
know that.
no, they don't want to give me no grace, so they had to be cut off. Like, I don't speak to none of them. Like, I had to raw dog all of my assessments, tick. I don't have somebody to vouch for me, because I don't have friends that I've had for long enough that could, I don't actually like being around people. I have a lot of social anxiety, like, and it's really day and night, because sometimes I'm like, I need people, I need energy, it's so weird. Like, now everything makes sense, how I am. And yeah, and anger definitely lives inside. Yeah, resides, pays rent. Like, yeah, that's so.
Also, sorry, just
No,
to add on
please.
with the disability conversation. I feel like it's only a disability because of the society and capitalism and the way this. It's not actually. If we live the way we were supposed to live, then we wouldn't be considered disabled.
But that's my
And the system. That's true. That's set
why
up
do we
against us.
stigmatize it? We really understand it's just like language. Words were used for were invented for a reason, right? As humans to communicate. So it's a disability because of neurotypicals, and they have made it that neurotypicals are the norm or whatever. So I accept disability. Let me be able to differentiate between, because I don't even want to be looped in with you. Yeah, a disabled woman. I own it. And since I've been reclaiming that word and saying it, because you need to know that disability looks like this one right here.
Oh,
You
definitely.
need to know that. It's so important to me. Like, it doesn't faze me. I know who I am, whether you call me. Does that make sense? Yeah. Is it a lie? No, it's the definition of, right? So it's helped me a lot, and it's helped a lot of other people, because I almost lead with it. Like, hello, I'm disabled. Okay, just so you know, yeah, don't fuck around and find out. I love it. Please, yes.
Just to add on to that, I think I think yesterday or the day before is the first time I've actually spoken about my ADHD to a manager. So like literally with my work, it's safety critical roles. So having ADHD is very questionable, right? With it, because they're like, it's funny because when you speak about it, it's like, are you sure you can like dispatch a train? You're not going to be distracted type thing. Do you know what I mean? That stigma. So, I think because I'm just having issues at work with someone, it's the first time I said, oh yeah, the reason why I don't say hi to people or speak to people if they don't come to me is because I fear rejection. It will just change my whole mood if someone rejects me. If I say good morning to a colleague and they don't say it back, I think they hate me. Like even today, I was late to work because Euston Station was closed, underground, and I work at Euston, so how am I meant to get there? So I'm now panicking, thinking this co-worker that's always supported me, he's supported me through everything, and I thought he hated me because I was late and he couldn't get on his train because he did night shift. Come to find out, he's like, yeah, that's fine. And then I thought other colleagues hated me. So not all colleagues know about it because I'm very shy about it. Didn't want to tell them because, especially taking medication, telling my manager I had a panic attack to tell my manager. And only today she mentioned it and asked me, how does it affect me at work? Which was surprising. She was like, how does it affect you? I'm like, it doesn't affect me. I can do my work because I enjoy it. I do love working with trains. Every time I say it, my family just cracks me up because they always say like, I like trains, like, you know. And I'm like, it's not like that, but I do enjoy trains. I'm not a train spotter, but I love trains, you know what I mean? So like it's kind of things like that, not really talking about it, and then having someone who has autism at work, we just connect and gel. Like she helps me through it, like literally went through something at work, had panic attacks all the time, being at work, broke down all the time. I was surprised because, you know, the stigma breaking down, like even just like the first time ever crying on the phone to my mom about work, and she was supporting me. She was like, it's gonna be okay. She didn't tell me it was gonna be okay, because I hate when people do that. Right. It's kind of like, it's gonna be okay, you know, things are gonna go over. She just told me the truth about how it is. She's like, you just have to face it, like, you know, if you're having a panic attack, just breathe her and stuff. And like seeing like ADHD as a disability, like looking at on my work file, it's like is like one of my disabilities that they count it as, which is true. Just reclaiming that word, because I'm not no different than my other workers. I'm good at what I do. It's not like stopping me from doing my job. I still can dispatch trains. I still can do like disruptions, talk to customers, even though sometimes it does get overwhelming that I have to take a breather or just disappear for a bit, because sometimes customers are shouting in your face and you're like, what are you meant to do in that point? But yeah, it's just like that word, just learning about it and just using it and just accepting it.
You know about the panic attacks you mentioned? I used to think they were fake. Like I used to go to the hospital every other day with panic attacks from work, like actually thinking I'm gonna die. Like there was this thing inside my chest, I can't breathe. Ambulance comes to get me, they run all the tests, the ECGs. We can't see nothing. We think it's just stress. Stress was such a foreign word to me. I was like, this is a effing joke. I almost died. Like I used to really be upset. Like I didn't even understand that. But just to go back to something I forgot to say because I got lost in tangent. When I got diagnosed, as I said, I was the first in my fam, and as you your eyes are open, I start to diagnose everyone. I could see clear as day in every single one. My mum, my dad, my sibling, and you know, and they were like, no, bitch, it's just you. As I said, I was like, you know what, say no more. I don't even mind.
Yeah.
But one day, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One day. So amazing episode today. I just want to do like a small, a big recap of what was discussed. So we discussed about the stigma in the Black community, in the Black family, and around neurodiversity and mental health. These conversations are so important, and I think we should carry on talking about it. We should make it more vocal. We should take it everywhere we go. And you know, if you have that space, or if you have that, how do you say, the word escapes me right now? If you Yeah, to say it, then go ahead and say it. Because sometimes people don't, but then, they, like you say, they don't validate, like, you don't look like you have. What do you mean you have ADHD? What do you mean you have autism? Like, I have 3 degrees, and they're like, how did you do that with ADHD? Because I hyper focus. And also the changing narrative around our mental health and ADHD as well. So it's very important. Like what I talked about, we all talked about it as well. Like first we've been told that it was depression or anxiety or but it was actually a neurodiversity. So thank you.
Thank you so much to our beautiful guests. It was such an honor to have you be part of our podcast today. Where can our listeners find you?
Okay. Everyone's looking at the camera's on. So my Instagram is at Jen the Great. That is JENNE the Great, and same on X, Twitter as well. Yeah.
It's Moy 130. I think it's Moy _Moy 130. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at remembering these type of things. I just use Instagram really. So yeah.
You can find me on TikTok at ADHD.baddie and on YouTube as well. I think it's just ADHD baddie. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We are also now on YouTube. So if you're a visual babe and you want to see our lovely faces, please do sign up and watch what we've got there. We have released a lot of podcasts on it as well. So please have a look at them, click subscribe and turn on your notifications, because otherwise how are you going to know that we've got new episodes coming out? And also you'll be the first to know when we do. And of course, share, like, and comment, and let's build a Babes community over on YouTube. Thank you so much.
If you'd like to join ADHD Babes or learn more, you'll find the links to our website and social media pages in the show notes, as well as visiting ADHDBabes.com. If you like today's episode, please feel free to follow so you don't miss future episodes. Like, why would you want to do that? We'd be so pleased if you could leave us a rating and a review. Be kind, please, and let everyone know your thoughts. Unless they're negative, keep it juicy.
No bad vibes. Thank you. Peace out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. If you're a Black woman or non-binary person and need help and support in managing your ADHD or advice on diagnosis, please visit ADHDBabes.com. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. Join us in 2 weeks for a new episode. Until then, all the love from the ADHD Babes team.
Just as I am, can you take me just as I am?